2019, I said goodnight and I love you to my daughter, Monique B, for the last time. Monique did not have to die. I didn't have to throw her out like she was garbage either. My baby was so precious to me. To all of us, she was so valuable. How dare they?
Oh my God.
I love you, Mommy, and I forever love you.
When you look at her oldest daughter and you're like, wow, like you are Monique all over again. It's really hard because sometimes like I just grab her and I just hug her because I'm like, I could picture this just, you know, being Monique and hugging her. And Monique's life can't be released back to us. We can't get her back. So why should anyone involved in such a horrific crime be eligible for any type of freedom? We don't have any freedom. Her kids don't have any freedom. I can speak confidently on the behalf of my entire family. It does not get easier even though the time goes by, you know, the years go by. It doesn't get easier because we, every moment, think about her. You know, she's in our living rooms, on our walls, and we think about her day in and day out.
According to evidence presented at trial, Monique B was lured to a bogus home showing, kidnapped in the back of a U-Haul truck, tortured, and then executed. Her body tossed out into a North Minneapolis back alley.
Today, a former Hennepin County probation officer was found guilty on all counts for her role in that case.
Elsa Sigura will now likely spend the rest of her life in prison.
According to prosecutors, Sigura was helping her boyfriend, who was in a dispute with Bao's boyfriend over a record label contract. It's also believed he wanted to get even, as he believed the boyfriend, John Mitchell Moma, snitched on him for drug dealing. Mitchell Moma was also shot that night with he and Bao's children in the home at the time, but he survived. Mother Wanda tonight, and she had this to say about the guilty verdict. I'm overwhelmed with joy. It goes to show you that no matter how many degrees you have, it doesn't change a person's character. The prosecutor said her use of an alias and burner phone was evidence of her willing participation. 2 others have yet to stand trial.
4 people were convicted on first-degree murder-related charges as part of a conspiracy that ultimately targeted Monique's boyfriend. The apparent motive connected to a recording label dispute and allegations of snitching on a drug-dealing operation.
And I also would just like to say sorry. Something that I thought I would never say. Yet here I sit, a condemned man sitting in the same seat as Derek Chauvin, a man who killed someone in front of the world. And I'm about to receive life without parole for a few fingerprints, and they said they said were mine on some tape and some cell phones.
Judge Peter Cahill actually tacked on an additional 240 months, so 20 years on top of those life sentences. Those 20 years have to be served after the life sentences. The reason Judge Cahill executed that sentence today, he said, in case the laws ever change, he never wants these 2 men ever getting out of prison.
Yo, what it is, people, we is back. Another day on Keep It G News. And they all were in Minnesota. Been there before. Last time we was in Minnesota, yo, we found out that it's going down there. I promise you. People was dying left and right in Minnesota. Now, in this video, we got to go back to 2018. Because in 2018, a travesty happened in Minnesota. They probably haven't seen nothing of the likes of this since. Or I could be wrong. But it's involving the death of a woman by the name of Monique B. She was a real estate agent. Successful real estate agent at that. And she may have got caught in the mix of something that her boyfriend at the time or baby father at the time had going on, yo, and it is crazy. I'm talking about, y'all, once y'all hear the full details of the case, not what you just heard in the beginning, because that's just the tip of the iceberg. You know, you heard from the family members, you heard from the mother, you heard the mother give her victim impact statement, which was powerful. You heard from the cousin, and you also heard at the end from one of the alleged trigger pullers. You know, you see how he felt about it. He still think he is not guilty, but the court say otherwise. We know how this go. And in this video, we're going to talk about all of this, yo, because it just got brought back to life for 2 reasons. And I'm going to get to the reasons right after you find out the facts of the case. On the evening of December 31st, 2019, Monique B was tasked with showing one more house before it was time to celebrate the impending new year. The 28-year-old real estate agent left her boyfriend, John Mitchell Mama, at home with their 2 children, headed to Maple Grove, a suburban city in Minnesota.
The house on Niagara Lane was beautiful and in a safe neighborhood. It wouldn't stay on the market for long.
We were on the phone, and finally when she does get to the house, it's 3 o'clock. You know, as she's setting up, she's like, oh, I don't think these guys are gonna show up because they didn't show up to my showing that was on Monday. I was like, oh, well, if they don't show up, then, you know, just cancel. They're clearly playing games. And she was like, oh, yeah. She was like, if they're not here by 3:10, I'm going to leave. So I'm like, okay, well, yeah. So we're still on the phone. She's showing me the house. I'll never forget, it's a great kitchen that they had in there. But at this time, she was like, yeah, Josie, I think I'm going to start packing up. So I'm like, yeah, I think you should. And then she goes, oh, actually, they're here. They're here now. I'll call you back once I'm done. She clearly didn't get a chance to call back.
Later that evening, Mitchell Mama was shot by home invaders and left bleeding in front of his children. Barr ended up being kidnapped and thrown into a van. Her body was discovered in an alley in Minnesota. Her hands were bound with duct tape, and she was shot 3 times. Authorities later discovered a revenge plot that was targeting Barr's boyfriend. The Star Tribune reported that at 5:40 p.m. the night he was attacked, Mitchell Mama called 911 and told the operator he had been shot several times. When police arrived, they found Mitchell Mama and Barr's 2 daughters, both under 5, with him, but they wasn't harmed. According to Mitchell Mama, a mass shooter came to the front door and opened fire. He quickly ran upstairs for children and screamed, "I'm dead already, my babies are here." When asked why this might happen, Mitchell Mama told authorities he believed he was targeted either because he had been flashing a lot of money on social media, or because people thought he was a police cooperator, per the Associated Press. It was later revealed that Mitchell Mama was a local rapper who had fallen out with a friend over a recording deal he signed. Court documents obtained by the Associated Press showed that authorities got a tip that a paid hit had been placed on Mitchell Mama by a friend turned rival. Unfortunately, there's more to the story, and the other persons involved wasn't as lucky. Less than an hour after Mitchell Mama called police, ShotSpotter technology alerted authorities to gunfire near an alley. When they arrived, they found Barr shot in the torso and in the face at close range. Her hands were bound by tape, said the Star Tribune. Authorities later determined that Barr was lured to a real estate property under the guise of showing the house to a prospective buyer. She was kidnapped and put into a rental truck, which was also spotted at her home where Mitchell Mama had been shot. Barr was later shot and dumped in an alley. Police spoke with 2 people on a rental truck agreement who said they had traded the vehicle to a man named Cedric Barry in exchange for heroin. Barry was charged with second-degree murder and kidnapping, but he wasn't working alone. A woman by the name of Elsa Sigura was the person responsible for calling Barr and setting up the fake housing showing. Per KR 11, she was sentenced to life in prison for her involvement, but that conviction was reversed as of January 2024. She is awaiting a new trial. Barry and a man by the name of Barry Davis were found guilty of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and kidnapping, and are both serving life sentences without parole. The person who orchestrated this revenge plot was Landon Wiggins, who was a former business associate of Mitchell Mama, reported CBS News. Wiggins was also a drug dealer who suspected Mitchell Mama was a snitch. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. A 5th person was sentenced to 90 days in jail, which began February 2nd, 2023. KSTP reported that Chantel Sharice Davis is married to Cedric Barry and is the sister of Barry Davis. She booked a hotel room for those involved and drove her husband to pick up the Another reason besides the fact that this woman lost her life, and I want to send my condolences to everybody affected throughout this whole situation, because y'all heard everything. A lot of people was affected. You talking about the victim's family and the family of the suspects. Everybody hurts in these type of situations. We got to understand that, you know. And the facts of this case was that Monique B was murdered on behalf of something that her baby father had going on. Now, I know that is hard to deal with as a person. You know, to put a family member in such harm's way. Yo, I know that gotta affect him, so I ain't gonna be too hard on him as I was gonna be at first. I'm gonna fall back a little bit because I'm sure still to this day he's dealing with this. And come to find out, Mitchell Mama is an alleged rapper. And we're gonna get to some of his music because I find it strange, and I'm gonna get to it as to the reason why. But Monique B was murdered and set up by another woman named Elsa Sigura. Now, Elsa Sigura, we're going to talk about at length a little bit because what just happened in her situation, in her case, is crazy. But she wasn't the only one that had hands in this. There was a guy by the name of Cedric Davis, Shantae Davis, and Cedric Barry. I think that's the name. Y'all know I mess them up all the time. Forgive me if I got it wrong. But the reason they decided to set Monique B up is because they thought that Mitchell Mama was either a snitch or it was some type of business deal gone bad because one of the Davis, Barry or the Davis, one of them guys and Mitchell Mama had a business relationship. You know, Mitchell Mama's a rapper. I'm going to get to his music. But just the other day, and one of the reasons why this is brought to light, besides the fact that it's a documentary that's going to be on Hulu called Hear Me After, is that Lisa Sigura case just got overturned.
Realtor Monique B went to show a house in Maple Grove and never came home. Prosecutors say she was lured there, then kidnapped and shot in a Minneapolis alley.
4 people received life sentences in the case, but today the Minnesota Supreme Court reversed Elsa Sigura's conviction and is sending her case back to the lower courts.
Morgan Wolf talked to legal experts about the case. Morgan?
In 2021, a jury found Sigura guilty on 4 charges in relation to B's death. Today, the decision reversed 2 of them, aiding and abetting first-degree premeditated murder and premeditated attempted murder. She is now entitled to a new trial.
In a 50-page opinion, the Minnesota State Supreme Court details why they reversed Elsa Sigura's conviction, pointing to 2 issues: insufficient evidence and jury instructions. Starting with the evidence, Sigura, a former probation officer, admitted in court she set up a fake home showing with Monique B to help her boyfriend, Lyden Wiggins. Prosecutors say that Wiggins had a falling out with B's boyfriend, John Mitchell Momo. Sigura testifying that she didn't know of the plan to kidnap and kill B. Prosecutors argued there was circumstantial evidence that could lead Sigura to knowing about the plan, such as using her job resources to see her boyfriend's violent record.
Yes.
Attorney Shauna Kiefer, not affiliated with this case, says circumstantial evidence isn't enough.
If what we're basing it on is circumstantial evidence, there can't be a different hypothesis that's reasonable other than guilt.
As for the jury instructions, she says the high court found parts of it too vague.
When viewed together, these instructions misstate the law because by their plain language, they allow the jury to convict Sigura of kidnapping for the actions of others without reaching the issue of her liability.
Kiefer adds she was surprised at the detail in the court's decision.
In this case, they were still incredibly thoughtful and really went through the law here, and I think they got it correct.
We reached out to the Hennepin County Attorney's Office that sent us this statement. Following the Minnesota Supreme Court opinion issued today, the case reverts to its status just before the trial. Ms. Sigura will be transported back to Hennepin County Jail to face the 2 remaining counts of first-degree murder while committing a kidnapping and kidnapping to commit great bodily harm or terrorize. If found guilty on those 2 remaining charges, it would still carry up to a life sentence in prison.
Now I apologize, y'all. The name of the docu-series is called Me Hereafter, and the guy that had the business dealings with Mitchell Mama was a guy by the name of Lyndon Wiggins, and Lyndon Wiggins was the one that set this whole thing up. But Elsa Sigura just got her case thrown out, which means she's not out the woods. She still got to go through the trial process again, and I take issue with it for one reason and one reason only. It seems like that anytime the people don't look like me, and more than likely some of the viewers, they always seem to get a break by the system, you know, because this is how the system is supposed to work the right way. Because if I'm being honest, she shouldn't have never been charged with the murder of this woman if they didn't know the details of what she had going on. You talking about they didn't have anybody to come to court and say that she knew directly that she was setting this woman up to be murdered. So it's an easy way to get out. And most people don't get out this way. But like I told y'all, she got the complexion for the, you know, understand what I'm saying? She was able to get out of this by saying that she didn't know. You know, she thought that they was going to commit a lesser crime. But in my opinion, she knew what was going on. She knew what was going on the whole time because she called this woman multiple times to arrange this meeting for this house. And Cedric Barry and Barry Davis, I think those are the names, end up kidnapping this woman and murdered her after she told them everything they needed to know. Because once she got the key, or once she told them the information, they got the key from her one way or another, and you find out that she did put up a fight. She had scratches and scars on her as well. You know, she didn't go out easy. But I agree with the mother, yo, that had to been a traumatizing way, yo, for this innocent woman to have to go through something like this. You understand? Like, she didn't have anything to do with what those guys had going on. So why is it that they used her to get to him? You know, it's always other ways. And I'm going to keep it real. Like, this is something that we all can learn from, because in this situation, y'all, so many lives was affected. You talking about 3 women was involved. Shantae Davis, Elsa Segura, Monique B was all innocent women that got caught up in a mix dealing with guys that may not been involved in street activity. You understand? And this is one of the dark sides of the game, because these things can happen when you're dealing with people that really don't have your best interests at heart. Now, I'm sure Mitchell Mama never expected it or wanted it to go this way, but that is why that if you really involved in the streets, you getting some real money, and you know, you dealing with the guys, you know. You dealing with the guys, the movers and shakers, the guys that's committing the robberies and the attempts, and you understand? You got to make sure that your woman is so far away from that. And for Cedric Davis and Barry Davis, I think those are names, for those guys to get their women and their sister involved in it was insane. You know, because though Elsa Segura may get another shot, you know, she may get a lesser sentence, she's still facing an exuberant amount of time. And she was a career woman, probation officer, just like Monique Barr. Monique Barr was a real estate agent doing her thing. Those women shouldn't have had no parts of any of these things that was going on, if it was supposed to go on at all. But Mitchell Mama, who was accused of snitching and actually testified in this case, is still a rapper, and his music is pretty good.
I don't miss. That's a fucking hit. 36. That's a fucking brick. That's that fish. You can see it gliss. Ice my neck. Ice my fucking wrist. Me on the west side, party on the hillside. I heard that's the best side. Take a Rari for a joyride. Turn all of your free slide. Hit you with a low tide. We gon' have a good night. I can tell you worldwide. What you talking about? We gon' ball out, fall out, fall out. We gon' let them all out. Riding with them killers, got them niggas in the back, yeah. Riding in that Maybach truck, with them sticks on us. All them prices going down, but we gon' keep them bitches up. Flying with 100 rounds, I felt like I ain't get enough. They put insurance on their life now, they afraid of me. I take chances every day, my pistols tell me. Don't let nobody doubt you, the streets is good without you. Dirt on your name and tell the fans everything.
Now, I said I wasn't gonna be too hard on Mitchell Mama, but I gotta speak on this, because when I listened to his music, I was a little upset. I was a little taken back to hear that he just endured something so traumatic, and whether he like it or not, got his baby mother involved in something she ultimately lose her life. To hear he's still rapping gangster rap, portraying this gangster image, it's crazy. You know, I ain't saying you gotta change who you are, but to still put out this type of music and be a rapper and still talking gangster and put money on people's head. Y'all heard the lyrics. That's a little bit insane to me, especially considering the fact that he was accused of snitching, and then he actually snitched in the case that his girlfriend was murdered over. You understand? Now, people can argue and debate, was it the right thing to do? I'm not here for that. I'm just dealing with the facts, and I think the fact that he's still rapping gangster, or was rapping gangster, after her death and all the way up until last year, is insane to me. You know, but this is the dark side of the game, and I'm gonna keep saying it, because women gotta understand, when you involve yourself with street guys, that things like this can happen if you're not protected. You understand? And on the man aspect, yo, there's no reason to be crashing women out like this that we supposed to care about. Like, we not talking about randoms, we talking about baby mothers, wives, sisters, We ain't talking about the girl down the street that set niggas up every day. No, this not that. Multiple people got involved in this situation and ultimately hindered their life and changed the course and direction of their life because they was involved with guys that didn't have their best interests at heart on either end. Some people might not like me saying it, but that's what I see from the facts of the case. And Monique B lost her life behind all of this. 2 kids, motherless, behind all of this. And it's just left everybody traumatized. You know, Mitchell Mama, I'm sure, even though he rapping and portraying gangster, I'm sure he's traumatized by this. You know, you go to some of his recent posts, he still talks about this daily. This happened 5 years ago. And Elsa Sigura is going to have a day in court. I'm going to keep an eye on it because I want to see what they do with this show, because even though I think she did get overcharged, over sentenced, I also know that they don't always do this. You know, it's times where they completely railroad people, go above and beyond the rules, and the decisions are final. Just seems like she caught a break in this situation. But I want to say my condolences to everybody involved in this, you know, situation again. You know, if y'all can, check out the series on Hulu. I know I'm going to check it out because I want to know more, y'all. It might be some things that these articles didn't cover that come out in this whole ordeal. But let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments. How do y'all feel about the Cedric Davis, man? You know, or Barry Davis, one of them guys that was talking in the beginning of the video. You know, the arrogance that he showed and he displayed. Even though he apologized, he still maintained his innocence. And I get it, shit. I maintain mine too. But I would never come off arrogant knowing the situations and circumstances of the case and if I was involved or not. You know, fingerprint evidence have sent people to prison for a very long time, and it also got people off when the evidence is lacking. And how do y'all feel about Mitchell Mama on his rap career, man? You know, I say this a lot on my channel. When things like this happen, you at a crossroads. You can either keep going the direction you're going or you can turn back. Looked like to me Mitchell Mama kept going the direction he was going. He kept pursuing his rap career. And some people might disagree, some people might not, but it is what it is. You feel me? I just think it's a little bit odd to me for him to be accused of snitching to begin with, and then for him to actually testify in this case and still come out to be a gangster rapper. That's wild, you know what I mean? But let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments. This is the story of the Monique B, a real estate agent that was murdered innocently behind a situation that her baby father had going on. But let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments. It's another day of Keep It G News.
Nigga can't do what I do, y'all niggas can't copy me. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep the shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G.